Steps to the sale. So we're going to go down through these. Like I told you, the book is put together by the steps to the sale to help you to be able to be successful. And they're ranked in the correct order because, let's be honest, if you're good at number 10 and you're not good at number 1, number 2, and number 3, you're not good at number 10 because you can't close that empty seat. I don't care how good you are at number 11, number 10, number 9, number 8, number 7, number 6, number 5, number 4. If you can't do 1, 2, and 3, you'll never get there. So if I had to pick, and if I was designing, and I said, here's the categories I want in a sales professional to be very, very, very successful, I would say, please give me 1, 2, and 3. And next after that, give me number 4. The rest of it, I can handle. The rest of it, I can get management to step in place for. What I cannot get management to do because of manpower, not because they don't know how to do, is they can't prospect for 15 salespeople. Mathematically, it's not possible. Now, I can email blast, and I can advertise on the radio, and I can get billboards, and I can get TV, and I can get SEO, and I can get VSEO, and I can get all that stuff. But none of it is as powerful as prospecting one-on-one and getting repeats and getting referrals. So I would much rather have somebody that was good at 1, 2, 3, and 4 and awful at the rest of it than somebody that won the walk-around with Chrysler, hit all the plaques on the wall with Ford, is the best at the walk-around, knows all the product knowledge, but doesn't have anybody coming in to talk to them about all that. So think about that right now. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we'll spend a good amount of time there. Today we're going to go over 1 and 2. 1 and 2 is what we're going over today. So we'll first start with prospecting. You ready? All right. So our first category there is prospecting. Prospecting. Look first at the steps to the sale. Because each one of these steps to the sale, we've listed what's called a summary for what steps to the sale should be. Number 1 is prospecting. It says phone calls, lot-ups, referrals, anything that results in contact and getting in front of people. Letting your circle of influence know who you are and what you do. All right, flip the page there. Prospecting. Who and where. Let's talk about circle of influence. What does circle of influence look like? What does that mean? You say, I really don't know who my circle of influence is. I want you to start thinking about the easiest way to think about this is look at your life Monday through Sunday. Monday through Sunday, if we took it. And just start with whatever day. I don't care what day you start with. Start what you go through every single day, who you come in contact with. I'm not talking about who you sell cars to. I'm talking about not related to the car business. You know, do you go to the dry cleaners? Okay, where do you stop and get fuel? Where do you bank at? Do you have to go pay any bills in person? And maybe a lot of y'all do it online, but are there still any bills you pay in person? Do you drop your kids off anywhere? Do you have any PTA meetings? You know, do you have any associations you're with? Do you have any groups you're with? Okay, what kind of church activities do you have? What kind of kids activities? What kind of guy nights do you have? You know what I mean? All these type of things during a normal week, Monday through Sunday, that you do on a normal basis. That's your circle of influence. And then I want you to think about people that are close to you socially. Let's think about family. Let's think about neighbors. Let's think about, now, co-workers. I got to back up a little bit here because your co-workers are in this room, okay? And they can sell themselves a car. Let's think about previous co-workers. Where did you previously work? Where did you previously prospect there? As you go down through the list, and that's what it shows right here, this list is meant to get your mind rolling on who your circle of influence is. Circle of influence is anybody that you do business with, you communicate with, and you're around. Social media has taken this and blown it up. Blown it up. I've got a friend of mine that he has a dealership up in Missouri. Okay, guy just moved there. Salesperson just moved there from Florida. And know a soul. Now this is a small town in Missouri. 15,000 people. Okay, 15,000 people. He is annihilating social media up there in a town of 15,000 people. All right? He's selling other guys' previous customers because they have not followed up with them. In fact, my friend that has the dealership up there, let me get this right, his wife's cousin's mom or something like that, distant relative, like 2 or 3 layers down the road, okay, follows this guy on social media and ended up following this other person because he knew that they worked at the same dealership, and this person put out videos and put out content, so on and so forth. So this relative, who he's never met, knows them, but lives out of town, he's never met, they come into town for the week, okay? They walk into the dealership, and that person knows John, okay, who's the salesperson that moved from Florida, recognizes him before recognizes the relative. Now, hopefully you put all that together there, okay? So the relative that's related but they've never met, she has better association with John, the salesperson that moved from Florida, than she does with the actual relative because of the power of social media. She feels connected. She recognizes his face, knows what's going on at the dealership, life, so on and so forth. You can do the same thing. Now, what did this guy do, John, that moved from Florida? He started liking everybody's friends and sending friend requests that have anything to do, especially management level wise. Service manager, parts manager, and not necessarily the other salespeople, because then that's just fishing in the same pond. I want to fish in other areas. But why wouldn't I make sure I'm friends with everybody who's the parts manager, the service manager, BDC, people in the CO? You want to expand your circle of influence? Why not do that? Think about that. Because that person, Deanna, who's answering the phone, her friends and family knows that she works here and she loves where she works, but knows that she can't sell the car. So who are they going to ask for? Well, they could ask Deanna, but then all of a sudden if they see your stuff start to pop up on their feed, they start feeling connected and comfortable with you and they know who you are. And some of y'all have that same story. But I'm just encouraging you, if you're starting in the business, you've got to start with prospecting. Prospecting now is the easiest that it's ever been, social media-wise. All right? So, who you are, what you do, and what you sell. The other layer of prospecting, and we talk about it in Show and Goes all the time, is explaining to people what all you sell. Now let's think about that for a minute. They expect you to sell new Fords if you work at the Ford store, and they expect you to sell pre-owned Fords. That's it. That's it. It's not normal that a salesperson gets to sell Fords, and they can sell Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram products, and they can sell any of the used from any of the lots. So don't take offense to it when a customer says, I saw that vehicle at Springdale, I didn't think you could sell it. You just need to look in the mirror. It's not normal. See, they don't expect if they go in the mall and they get a rep from the Buckle, they don't expect that rep to be able to walk over to Finish Line and sell you a pair of shoes. Would you ask them to do that if you walked in the mall right now? You wouldn't, would you? You wouldn't expect somebody from Sears to walk over to Dillard's with you and help you with stuff. It's not normal. So our customer thinks the same way. So you've got to program them different. Okay? If Mike, and everybody knows that Mike sells new Fords, they don't expect him to be able to walk across the lot and sell a new Jeep. Or if Matt's selling new Jeeps, they don't expect him to be able to sell a vehicle that's out in Farmington. So you have to reprogram and retrain your circle of influence. Not only do they need to know who you are, where you work, and what you do, they need to know what all expanse inventory that you have, especially non-core. So I encourage you to focus on the non-obvious. The obvious is exactly where your dealership is. So if you're selling a brand new Ford, they know you can sell a brand new Ford. They might not think that you can sell a pre-owned Ford. They for sure don't think you can sell a new Jeep. And there's no way in their mind that it crossed that you could sell a pre-owned Nissan, Honda, Toyota, Chevrolet, GMC. If you don't let people know that, they won't come ask for you. And it's nobody's fault except yourself. So 2 levels on prospecting. Letting everybody know around you who you are, what you do, and where you work. And then the next level of that is what all you have to offer. So let's say you're having trouble with this. And you're like, you know what, I just moved to the area. I want you to pull out your bank statement, your credit card statement, and go down through there. Anybody that you spend money with, you've earned the right to ask for business in return. That's the easiest person to ask a referral from. Okay? This time of year, you get kids that come around all the time and they're selling the popcorn and the candy and all that type of stuff. And if you're going to donate and you're going to buy the $15 popcorn that's $2 because you want to help, I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. Help them out, but ask them in return. Get them to give you a podium. Get them to say, hey, I don't mind helping you out here, but if you do the same for me, here's some $100 referral cards. You've got to start asking for that in return as you're prospecting. So start reading down through that list. Start thinking, is your mind rolling yet on who you would prospect with? And then is your mind started rolling on how you would prospect? So, okay, my mind's going. All right, I'm going to a ball game this week. My team's in the high school team's in the playoffs. Here's what I'm going to do when I get there. Here's what I'm going to do social media-wise. Today I got to pick up my dry cleaning. Here's how I'm going to help myself step out of my comfort zone. If you never step out of your comfort zone, you will not improve. Let me just tell you that. If you stay right here because you're comfortable right here, you're not going to improve. If you want to improve and you want to take your business to the next level, it's got to get odd feeling, okay? It's got to get uncomfortable, all right? If you want to get stronger and you're at the gym working out, you're going to have some uncomfortable days of sore muscles while they rebuild, aren't you? If you just always go to the gym and you're never sore, you're not working out hard enough, are you? Same thing in business. If you don't put yourself in an uncomfortable situation every once in a while, and I don't mean legally and ethically, I mean like out of your comfort zone and going to talk to somebody about picking up the phone, you're not going to improve. It's just not going to happen. If you stay in this comfort zone of, hey, I'm cool right here, I'm just going to cruise along. Here's the problem. Somebody underneath you, they continue to work and put themselves in an uncomfortable position, they're going to pass you. It's going to happen. It's just going to happen. You know, we live in a competitive world, and everybody's got the freedom to be able to improve on themselves and do that. So I want you to think down through here. All right, so we're going to figure out who our role play partners are right now, and you're going to go through with them. Here's what I'm thinking down here, and then I want one idea from each person on how you would execute prospecting this. All right? So, role play partners. It's your job. So let's say Shane tells me, I say, hey Shane, what do you think about this prospecting stuff? He goes, man, I need to do a better job of it, so on and so forth. And I say, Shane, how are you going to prospect? How are you going to prospect with these people? He goes, I'm going to go see them in the service department. You need to be a coach. Okay, you're going to go see them in the service department. That's a great idea. What time of the day are you going to do that? And he goes, man, I'm going to do it first thing in the morning. What time? And he goes, I don't know, between 8 and 8:30. Shane, let's be reality there. Between 8 and 8:30 every single day, I see you just talking to people about what was going on the weekend. That's cool, that's fine. But is it reality at 8 o'clock you'll go do that? And he's like, let's move that to 9 o'clock or 9:15. He goes, okay, I'll do 9:15. How are you going to get yourself to do that? See, as a coach and your role play partner, you got to keep pulling those back. Because if I take this soft, weak sauce answer that Shane gives me about I'm going to prospect in the service department, but I don't help give him a game plan to there, it does no good. Because if he doesn't have a game plan of here's how I'm going to step out of my comfort zone and improve on myself, I won't be able to do it. So, as you role play through that this morning, then I'll ask for some examples from everybody. So, team up. And we'll call a couple guys out here just to see what they came up with. So, hey, Kerry, who were you role playing with?
Chris.
All right, tell me, I just want one. Just tell me one idea Chris had that you liked and thought, hey, that's a pretty good idea.
Poker chips.
Tell me about it.
Poker chips are kind of like wooden coins, plastic coins, however you want them, but they inscribe them, of course, it's our referral program.
Do you hand them to the customer?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You just hand them out to your customers. Works great for referrals.
Cool, good idea. All right, hey Daniel, who are you role playing with?
Shane.
Okay, what's a good idea you picked up?
What we decided we're going to do is we can do videos on Facebook as part of the 20 plus groups I'm part of, do inventory walks and
Okay.
kind of stage appointments that way.
Okay, sounds good. So Robert, who are you role playing with?
Chuck.
The Chuck. Okay, what's an idea Chuck has?
Chuck has an idea of outside marketing, stopping and visiting with different places, passing out his cards, sharing with everybody what he does. More business outside than inside, that's his goal right now.
Okay, that's his goal. Okay, good. Anthony, who are you role playing with?
Patrick.
Okay.
Patrick gave me a great idea. Something I have not done is visit more down the service department, find out what they're driving, offer them to kill some time with some test drives and some new vehicles.
Okay.
Kind of get them in that mode.
Okay. All right, Derek, who are you role playing with?
Albert,
Albert, okay, what's that?
kind of like his ad stuff he was doing on Facebook and reaching out to Latinos, everybody out there to kind of widen his range
Okay.
and just get a lot more business that way.
Okay. Albert, what idea did you have from Derek?
Pizza delivery guy. Derek eats out a lot, so he's gonna start giving it out to waitresses, pizza delivery guy.
It's good.
That's
Yeah,
good.
so that brings up a great point. I mean, if a pizza's delivered to your house,
Give him a card with your tip.
I mean, why can't it do? Why can't you turn right back around and give that? You know, any type of delivery, any type of service. So anytime you're out and eating, you know. Hey, Robert, share with them your line when you're out and eating, how you prospect.
Well, I like to share with the waiter or waitress that the only thing better than the food was their service. It puts a big smile on their face, makes them feel great. And then I share with them that I provide the same service at Lewis Automotive. I ask them if they're in the market for a vehicle. If they're not, do you know anybody? I provide the same service. I give them a card. I share with them, please come and see me when you are in the market. So, you know, you make them feel great about what they do. I always leave a tip if they do great. And I ask them for business back.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, for sure. All right. Bill?
I had this nice young man.
Okay.
He had neighbors. He said that maybe this summer he'd have like a small cookout or something, have to invite all the neighbors, take a car home, with sitting there with the Lewis signs and stuff on it, and have some cards, get to know his neighbors, and let them actually see a car or a truck or something.
All right. Marty? Who are you with?
I was with Stan.
What did he say?
Stan was talking about spending more time with the people he does business with, making sure that he hands them their card and that the referral is highlighted, that they will earn $100 for everybody they send.
Okay. All right. Mark, what'd you pick up?
Courtney was my partner. She's saying cross-selling, letting her friends and family know that she also sells Chrysler, Dodge, and also doing like a vehicle of the day and kind of doing a walk around and letting everybody know that we sell a bunch of different vehicles.
Very important now. Remember, focus on non-core. Core will always be there, but you got to let people know if you want your circle of influence that already does business with you and knows you, likes you, and trusts you, you need them thinking out of the box. You need them when they're talking to other people at their business, at lunch today, their circle of influence. See, because really the compounding factor is here, your circle of influence and then their circle of influence and their circle of influence. And how you do that is a referral program and $100. So then you get people out there promoting you and what you do. So you've almost got to train your circle of influence, okay, to be marketing people for you. That they have to go out there and promote you and your business. So if they're not armed, if they're not ready to go, if you've not trained your circle of influence to right off the bat think about, no, go see Rick. He will get you a Nissan. He can sell new. I know he's at Farmington, but he'll help you out there. You've got to train them where they're a walking, talking billboard for you with all that you have to offer. So think about that before you get way wild out there. And this comes up in advertising all the time. They say, hey, Matt, you want to do some more advertising in Bentonville and Bella Vista? I said, let's look at our market share in Fayetteville first. Before I go way up here, I want to take care of this first. People right in my backyard. And if I'm not doing a good job taking care of people right in my backyard, I need to reconcentrate my focus right there before I get out here. So before I go find a new circle of influence, is my circle of influence walking, talking, and promoting me as a business with all I have to offer? And if the answer to that is not yes, you got to start right there. So before you come up with a wild idea on where to spend more money and where else to advertise and prospect, do you have your core circle of influence? Do they know who you are? Well, they probably know who you are, and they're part of your circle of influence. Do they know what you do and what all you have to offer? If the answer to that is no, you start right there before you expand out. Okay, you need your foundation to be rock solid. So everybody's mind's starting to roll now. They're thinking, here's how I need to do a better job prospecting. Here's what I need to do. I just encourage you before you get way out there, before you try to run a trick play, if we're on the football field, you better make sure everybody knows what the snap count is. And you better make sure that everybody knows what they should do before you run the play. Because the play definitely will not execute itself if everybody jumps off sides. Or if you go on one and they think you're going on 2 or 3. It just won't work. So you need your circle of influence to be a walking, talking billboard for you and for your business. So, as we go through this week, we'll dive in next week hard on the meet and greet. The meet and greet takes a little bit of time, so I'm going to need some more time to go through that. But remember, if you can't prospect, if you can't get people in here, it doesn't matter how good a job you do on your walk around. You have to be a good prospector. And I would say that if I had everybody volunteer, they would say, probably the number one area I need to do is to push myself to be uncomfortable about prospecting outside of the dealership. If I just had to guess, if I took a poll of everybody in here, they would say, well, hey, I do a pretty good job prospecting when they're in my office. Yeah, that's your comfort zone. They're in your office. What about when you're in somebody else's office? What about when you're outside of your bubble here? So I challenge you, step out, okay? When you go, and unfortunately the majority of y'all eat out, okay? That gives you about 3 times, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but 3 times a day. Some of y'all eat out more than 3 times a day. Bless your heart, okay?
Keep that economy going.
So that's at least 3 times a day that you can prospect, okay? As I promise you, the person at McDonald's, probably where you're going, or Zaxby's, or wherever else, that $100 referral to them, stop thinking about that you need to go talk to your banker. That's important. But the person that will send more people to you, the lower the income level, the harder they'll work for you. Because the $100 is more important to the person making $15,000 a year than $75,000 a year. They will send more people to you. John may have never bought from me before, but he does a great job every single day when I get my coffee from ABC Coffee. All right? So if I have him prospecting for me, so on and so forth. I can't tell you how many times Marty's talked to, is it Atlanta Bread or is it Panera?
Atlanta Bread.
But, I mean, they always know who he is because he's prospecting. One of these days, whether they buy a car or not, they're going to, when they hear somebody talking about one, they're like, man, you need to go see Marty.
They've already bought it.
Yeah, multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
So think about where you're doing business and just start off with that. Just start off with the guy from Jimmy John's that delivers you your sandwich when you order it today. When you sign the check on that, stamp yourself a card or give him a card, okay?